In a world where Africans have lost their roots, it has become of vital importance to document our ways. In an effort to reverse the brainwashing of the past, where we were made to believe our ways are demonic, we are pressed to create dignified and respectful platforms to unpack our spiritual ways. Moya, light, Moya, bright. Guys, thank you for coming back. Thank you for all your support. We definitely see you. Thank you to everybody who's pitching in and helping here and there. I mean, you can see we've got episodes, so it means you guys are doing your part. Thank you so, so much. As usual, I've got the best in African scholars, African healers. You love this topic. And it is the season, Vele, for us to all start together. Because often when the subject comes up, it's like in the middle of the year. So now we are going to start with the African New Year. We're getting into September and we are going to prepare for ourselves for the African New Year. We're going into the African calendar today. So get your pens and papers. I've got Gogo MOKGADI to come and break it down for us. I've heard she's very talented. So I'm very ready for you, Gogo. Thank you so, so much for...
No, Togoza Gogo, Makosi, Kamaku. Do I need to introduce myself? Who I is?
You feel free. You're most welcome to, but we just want your information.
All right. Okay, so my birth name ke MOKGADI, ke ngwato mosadi, ke setlogolo sa bakoni le dinoko re bina phiri re bina noko. Yeah, so I'm a Pedi woman. My ancestors are from the north. On the African calendar.
How did you get into that journey first? Because I need to, African spirituality is quite a big thing.
Yeah.
So maybe if you just start with why you were interested in it.
Yeah, so I think throughout my entire life, the thing that's always bothered me is like a sense of identity, to a point where I had a saying and I tattooed it, know thyself and to thyself be true, and before I was in a conscious space, I did not know why I gravitated towards that. But for me, that is the core of knowing yourself as an African person, right? Or as a person, if we're leaving the race out of it. But my conscious journey has been, like most of us, religion, politics, and I got to a point where finally I'm like, okay, you know what? This thing is calling me. So I went through the Togoza Gokoness, that phase. And I think for the longest, I've always wanted to know who God is, but outside of religion, because it's been something that doesn't really resonate with a lot of us, or with me as a person. It didn't resonate. So I got to a place called Orlando, where now Umkulu had put this plug that was always hanging for me on how creation happens, who God is actually, And the one thing he had mentioned was how we don't want to go anywhere as a race until we all have the same idea, or we know what God is for us as Africans, And I was like, that's the plug, So from then, obviously now this is, you encounter people, encounter other scholars where now things that you've known, but you don't know where do they fit in with certain things, are now making sense. So now when we come to the African calendar, like I've said, this is now anchoring you as a person, knowing who you are as a person, right? So, and I think the fault that we make as people, we know, okay, ke winter now, ke tlo apara jersey. But what we fail on doing is actually your subconscious self also is affected by the zodiacs, by the weather as well, by whatever's happening in the cosmos. So with the African calendar, it assists us in knowing, okay, when such and such a thing happens, it is the season for this. So I think, on your on your space here, you have mentioned, I think a lot of people have mentioned how we are one with nature, all right? And if we're going to take it all the way back to the creation story and how the religions that exist today, especially the monolithic religions, are a derivative from this knowledge, ko ancient Kemet. what is known today as Egypt. So this calendar is actually what our ancestors devised, all right? And this is now it's stolen knowledge, if I can say that, from ancient Kemet, from the Dendera temple, where now in the life that we know it now, you'd see your zodiac sign. It's in a circular form, and then it is divided into 12 houses. So with the African calendar, these 12 houses, we call them energy principles, we call them energy houses, and these are things where your chakra hands or the woke gang, the stone people, where now you would say, no, I'm a Pisces, I'm a Sagittarius, I'm this and this and that. But only for us as Africans to know, Uguti, actually, these zodiacs as we know them are actually inverted for us. All right. So if you know yourself as a Pisces, myself, for example, I'd know myself as a Pisces, but actually I'm a Virgo, and which correlates with the African calendar because Virgo is an earth sign. And then my principle, which is Geb, that is the god of earth. So you see, they actually do marry each other once you get into the content. And why I'm saying it's based on the southern hemisphere, because now again, they took it from Kemet, Baisa to your France and whatnot, and all these museums and in whatever system that they created. Because the system now, the Gregorian calendar, has absolutely no resonance with us, you know. Zero, like the man starts ka di 1 e fela ka di 30. That was probably a decision in whatever Gregorian rule where they devised this Gregorian calendar that we know it as, right? And you can see with spiritual systems that are that don't name, that are not so self-obsessed, where you'd actually name an entire calendar a Julian calendar. It's about me. And us as Africans, we're always like a collective people. You'd see there's the Chinese people, which are also the principles that the Chinese or the Asians that they use, Lebona, when you trace it back, whatever, it's all from Africa. That's why there's a saying also that says there's no other civilization but African civilization, because we did civilize these people. When you go historically, wherever you see, there is going to be a trace of melanated people there as an origin. Then back to South, why we say it is from the South. So there is also a study called Egyptology, which is weird. Imagine a study of people. But yeah, so it shows how big of a deal we are as a melanated people, you know, besides everything else that is happening, molefating to denote ukuthi as in, but when you can see, okay, people from other places are so obsessed with us. And then when you find like archaeological evidence, this place here in the South, so South Africa, well, the Southern Hemisphere, the Southern of Africa, this is where life begins. This is where life began. And in this whole study and research, I also discovered that actually South means origin. It's actually up instead of how we know it, where you're thinking North is up and then South is down here. So we have sites like your Inzalo Yelanga, Kompumalanga, where now you get one of the oldest stone calendars there. And right now it is deactivated, but that is where, so such places where occurrences of your summer solstice, your spring equinox, so we have equinoxes, we have solstices, also in this zodiac system, in the calendar that we have. I'll explain more on that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, because we tend to speak these terms like people know them.
Like, hey, girl.
Yeah, so life actually began here in the South. You get the oldest mines, go Swaziland, you get them go Botswana, you get Bo Mapungubye. So all these things are happening here in the South, which denotes Uguti. Life actually began here in the South. And that is why the calendar really inverted, because it actually originally is based on seasons that are happening here now. We take you mentioned the African New Year, Harikala. So the African New Year, in September, which in our languages, this would correlate with stuff that is happening in nature. All right. So you would see just now, Basotho, they were celebrating their New Year. All right. But if we're gonna be like slightly accurate, the New Year would actually happen when the new moon now comes now in the month August. But because we are in a world where it's dictated by system, we need like sort of consistency and. So
The
we
white
have,
way.
yes, basically. So it is governed by the lunar calendar, Basotho. So it's governed by that.
What?
Yes. So they use the lunar calendar, and they also have the 13 months. But yeah, I think another scholar will explain to you more on the lunar calendar. Yeah, that. But you would see also in nature now, Hadire new moon, you will see like now life starts popping in your garden if you are
Now in August.
Hadire new moon, just go out, go check it out. Like stuff starts popping out now, right?
Because now we're coming out the full moon, ne?
Yes.
So the new moon is coming in the next week
I
or
think
so.
already 16 or somewhere there, yes. So just observe, which is the great thing about this calendar. We're not imposing it on people, which, swallow this is how it is, but you actually get to witness these energy principles that are changing. You actually get to witness these things. So why are we saying the African calendar, the 23rd of September? Now, this is based on the solar calendar. So the solar calendar is a bit more consistent. And if you are a zodiac person, an astrologist, you would see, okay, they were dated Kaboma 21 of this month to the 20th or the other month or whatever.
Yeah.
So with the African calendar though, so that also, it sort of aligns because it is stolen knowledge. So it sort of aligns where Hadiri Boma D21, you would actually feel like an energy change, a whole change in atmosphere or whatever it is that you're experiencing. So this is why your zodiacs, they would date them Kaboma 21 or 23, depending on whoever the astrologist is. But astrology comes from the study of astronomy. And because Sekhwasi very low vibrational, they want to call astronomy a science and to trash astrology. But actually, these are things that actually do affect us. Energy changes does affect us as humans. It's just unfortunate that we are battling now with cosmic resonance because obviously we are misaligned as Africans, one. So we don't have that access. So that is why like the spread of such information, it's okay, how do I help myself align with me? Number one, know thyself. Okay, this is my principle. These are the characteristics I will display. And these are the for your chakra hands, the stones I'm going to carry on me. Or no, this plant got this season is going to be prominent, so I need to burn a certain incense season, so I need to be draped in a certain color. Hence for this season now we have the violet, your purples, and you're wearing a purple lipstick. You don't even know, but you are actually very aligned. And so this is basically like a way of life. It governs us as a people, and if you can align to that, and maybe you are a manifesting hand, so things, okay, at a certain time, this is what I asked for. So I remember what piqued me was the season Het-Heru, which is now October. Right.
So what I'm going to make you do, though, is go through everything.
Sorry. I'm also, I have like so much information in my head. I usually speak about a lot of things at the same time. My friends are used to me now.
We're sucking it in.
So we'll start the new year.
Yes.
Let's start with the
Let's
new
start
year.
in September.
So that principle is governed by the principle of Asar. Okay. So Asar, this is what you would call the green god.
Okay.
So why the green god? This is now, like I was saying, okay, new life begins now. It's popping, it's greening again now, because now we just come from, we are still ending our hibernation now. We come from a hibernated period where everything is just asleep, everything is chilled, and then new life now begins. And so you're going back to the beginning.
Okay.
Hence, on the solar calendar, Asar is our principle. Why I'm mentioning the color green? So green, as before we were corrupted apparently by diet and whatever it is, and the times that passed. So originally we are actually green.
What?
As melanated people. We're actually green. And to get a depiction of that, to get a depiction of that, if you have like a small baby, Endlini, just check their backs here. There's always like
it
green
looks
mark.
blue. Yes.
Yeah, so that is the original colors, people. And then we need to be cognizant of, remember, we are one with nature. So also remember, if motho ali like extremely dark, basotho batlore, tala is actually green.
Raw.
And in your nguni, you guys would say ulhlaza, right?
Yes,
Which is a green.
yes,
So that is
yes.
the principle, yeah, the green god now. And then we go, so this calendar goes in a counterclockwise direction. And it's something that I noticed, I think 2 days back when I was actually in the tub, that the water also, it goes out of the tub this way, like in a counterclockwise
Oh,
direction.
really? Okay, okay.
So that is the
So Asar also so the color is green.
green, yes.
And do you know the incense we're supposed to be using?
I know the stone. I'm not too sure of the
Okay,
incense.
okay, the
I'd have to read
Uh-huh.
that. The stone is a malachite stone. So for the chakra hands and the gemstone collectors, so you know that as a very, very, very powerful stone. It's one of the powerful
black
stones.
one.
No, it's green. It's got like these concentric
Oh.
circles, nyana. So it's a green stone.
Okay.
There's actually a crystal shop around about this area here. Yeah, if you want to know where to get crystals, I can also share
Yeah,
with that.
please,
Yeah, but there's people who can actually, like when you pick a stone, they can check, okay, does this resonate with you? Okay, what chakras do you need to be healing? And yeah, sorry, I forgot my earlier point about inzalo yelang.
Yes.
So that is where the chakras zomhlaba zilapho also. All right. So remember, we are one with nature. So what happens in nature also happens in us, as above, so as below, as within, so as without. So that is where we're gonna go to get the alignment, where also the feminine energies and the masculine energies, they combine there, and that is when we'll be celebrating the spring equinox. We're gonna also go into the equinoxes, right? Okay, then after Asar comes the period of Het-Heru. So Asar goes from period 23rd of September up until the 23rd of October. So why? And then Het-Heru is gonna start on the 23rd as well. Why do we say the beginning is the end? So Tina, as Africans, we are so misaligned because even our time is off. The day does not begin at midnight. We cannot begin the day. The day actually begins when the sun rises. So that is why for cases of consistency, we say letsatsi le qala ka 6. But obviously we have seen in the winter times, the sun will rise later. But when the sun rises, that is actually when the day begins. So that is why, because we're trying to marry the system that we're in and the system that we're trying to align to. So Het-Heru season starts now at the 23rd of October, and then it ends at the 23rd of November. The principle of Het-Heru, this is the goddess of love, my favorite. The goddess of love, also she's responsible for fertility. It's a feminine energy. So you would see also
That is fling city season, like big time.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. The weddings are starting, wedding invites are starting then. You know, it's a time for union. So if that is the time.
Yes.
So for me, I literally waited for entire year because I came into this content again in 2019. So 2020, I'm like, Mona, ngiyothola umuntu wami in Het-Heru season. And yeah, funny enough, I did. So you align with such things, you know. So yeah, I know Hore, a lot of us, Mjolo is a problem. So if you want to find a partner, wait for that timing. Timing is very important as well. So that is the time more your person, your union that you want, it's very sexual in the air as well. And that is where you need to also be able to decipher, okay, is this love? Is this lust? What is it? Because the energy, the sexual energy is very heightened then.
It really is. I'm so glad you're saying this because every year I'm like, oh God, you're going through a whole phase again, girl.
Yeah, so that is one of my favorite principles. And Het-Heru means the house of Heru. We're going to get to what Heru is. And then ka Sesotho ke mamonontsha, I forgot what it is in Nguni, but it's basically represented by the celestial cow. Yeah. And I think because I work in a way where like the dots will always connect backwards. So I'm like, oh, okay, maybe that's why Riloba like dikgomo as well, because the time for union, this is when weddings are happening and but yeah, don't write this one down. It's a thought. Think about it.
Okay.
And then after Het-Heru, we get into the principle of Jehuti.
Okay.
So Jehuti Gimlomogazi, this is the principle of communication, whether it's written word, whether it's spoken word. This is now happening at the 23rd of November up until the 23rd of December. So when you when I do like maybe manifesting spells, so this is the principle I call upon because this is the scripture. This is the spoken word, because you know that there's power in words. We affirm, we command things with our words. So this is this principle also on in the mythology. This is the person who writes down the deeds that you did, you know, past, present, future deeds. And then this deity is represented by there's the animals also that we also need to consider that align with certain principles. So it's also a knowledge keeper, or Jehuti, knowledge keeper, wisdom. So I know the baboon is also one of the principles, one of the animals that are associated with Jehuti. But unale like a BK, and then you'd see unale a writing, it writes on papyrus because this is ancient times. And then maybe I should have done like the consorts of them so we can. But anyway, let's go. So, but Ujehut is aligned to Ma'at. We're going to get into Ma'at when we complete our circle.
Okay.
So Ma'at, that is, okay, we'll get to her.
Okay.
So that is Jehut, principle of communication. So when you go to the scale where now they're weighing your heart against the feather, get Jehut get now ordering, okay, these are your deeds. Where now, hey, so you are either reincarnating, crossing over to the afterlife, or riakuinya, or whatever it is that happens. So this would be Jehuti, the record keeper, Akashic records. This is the person that has them. And then after Jehuti, and you're a writer, you're a spoken word person. Yes. So just see what happens with you as well. Your creative juices actually flow in this Jehuti season where you like feel more inspired to write, feel more inspired to want to spit or whatever it is, you know. And then after Jehuti comes the principle of Neptet. Neptet, this is now the sister to Oset and Asar. So ancient mythology is a bit weird where you're like, that sounds like incest. So your husband is your brother's your husband. Yeah, your sisters to your... Yeah, it's just, yeah. So Neptet is the sister to Oset, and in the creation story where now they need to go find the part of Asar. So this is the person Okapang Oset, which is Mudimume, Okapang Oset, to bring back the parts Asar, the green god. Now, okay. But yeah, maybe this will need a different episode to explain the creation story. So Neptet, this is the nurturer. This is the nurturing spirit. And on our calendar, so this is now the principle that nurses Heru, young Heru. We're going to get to Heru in a couple of minutes. So young Heru, this is now the nurse. So people born in the season are usually like the ones who are taking care of people, they're nursing people to health. So this is Neptet is I forgot my Bantu, you see, colonization. But anyway, yeah, but this is the nurturer, the one that helps you raise to your higher self, which is essentially Heru, your Heru self. So this also happens before she shifts into her being. There's something called the summer solstice that happens.
Okay.
Yes. So summer solstice, this would be when this is the longest and the hottest day of the year. And this is what the whole ilanga la jaiva ya Christmas as we know it would be coming from, because you will actually see physically, you know, the sun is here and it's at its hottest. And this is now I forgot to shalosa the spring equinox, but yeah, we'll get into it then. So this happens kadi 21 December, where we celebrate the summer solstice, but in the north they would be celebrating the winter solstice, which is why Christmas is celebrated waka December. See, so they did misalign us. So for them it works, but for us we don't have snow. So both other Christmas by you know. So then this would be from 23 December up until 23 January now. Then when we get to Jan, we get into the principle of Heru, 23rd of 23rd of January up until the 23rd of February. This is the Heru self. And then, because I'm a chakra Hana, I also got very invested in like marrying the color ya Heru. Heru color would be represented by your yellow, your gold. And when you look at the 7 chakra chart, this would be where your solar plexus is. And your solar plexus is responsible for your decision making, is responsible for what's this? Like being very decisive, you know. So the people who are kick ass in business are usually the people who have.
So you're saying you must make your decisions in January?
No. I'm going to the solar plexus. So solar plexus is responsible for your decision making. So if wateka, you definitely know you need to work on your Heru self. Heru self is your God self. So remember I said now in December, Neptune nurtures this energy, Heru, nurtures young Heru. So this is you now, you're collecting yourself so that you can rise to a higher consciousness, which is basically Heru. And if you're married to religion, this would be the Jesus effect, you know, where now this is the son of Asar le Oset. This would be represented by the sun as well, physical sun, because sun is from sun Jesus is from the sun itself. So this is now you are reaching a higher state of consciousness. This is what we mean when you are raising to your Heru self.
So please, can you make it more practical for us? What do you mean? Like in terms of if I have an idea.
So this is purely you now, right? Because this is I'm talking about your, let's say in a spiritual sense, right? There's certain things, it marries back to know thyself and to thyself be true. So let's say you are a business person, right? So this would be the time for you now to work on you being, if you're very indecisive, you're not going to survive in business. You know, you need to work on your decision making. Okay, ke phahla mophahlo ofeng ka this season ena ya Heru, so that I can rise now to my God self. Remember, we are all looking for a higher state of consciousness. We don't want to be vibrating very low. We want to reach a place where we know ourselves better, you know. So this would be a time where, the Heru season, this would be a time where now you are working with your lack of knowing who you are now. Now we are presenting God you now. Because remember, as much as you would be a Virgo or a Gemini or whatever it is, you embody all these energies inside of you. But you resonate more with the ones, the season that you are born in. And then also you need to check the one that is polar opposite to you. All right. So now when we are coming to our Heru self, this is now God the Son. So you need to also, or God the Son, God the daughter, God the child. Let's say that, if we're going to do the Trinity. So God the Father, God the Son, God the child. So this is where now you are trying to reach, because remember the Son is our life giver. You are trying to reach that state of yourself where you are almost you can confidently call yourself, I am a God. This is consciousness. This is you being, I guess woke, you know. And then after Heru would come, so King Kosana Kasizulu, right? Kosana, which denotes royalty again. And remember, the son Jesus, bamofa like a halo around his neck, around his head. So you would see also in royal houses, we wear, I forgot what it's called, but the Zulu people, they usually have this black thing around there. But I think a lot of us, we do a lot of things, but we don't even understand why those things are done. But this is now, you are denoting yourself, I'm part of the royal house, I'm part of royalty. Ke nkosana, ke khosana, ke khosi khadinyana, or whatever it is. My Soto is a bit off. And then after our Heru time, now comes the principle of Gape, which is my principle. So we start this one, Kadi 23 February up until the 23 March. So what you would know as a Pisces now would be before we finish Heru, Heru akerke Aquarius as we know it. Yeah, so it's the Aquarius, and remember we're in an age of knowledge as well. But yeah, I think let me not touch on this one to not cause further confusion. But
But
Aquarius.
what season is it?
So it's actually we're gonna go my aunt. We're gonna marry it to my aunt. So it's
Okay.
an Aquarius season as you know it, but it's actually in the Leo season.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Which means what's gonna happen?
so ka Aquarius. So why I wanna marry this now? So I wanna link it to a Aquarius season. This is the age, yeah, knowledge, acquiring, and remember ke flow and energy. What's this? Water as an energy force is one of the I feel is the greatest because it can embody all the other elements. Water can embody fire. Water can embody earth. Water can embody air. Water, embodies itself as flow. And so by fire, say like maybe you add a waterfall. So for example, so that hitting of the water, I get it feels like you're being hit by stone, earth, but your skin or your being is gonna react in a fiery way. If you go to like waters that literally flow, pressure, you're gonna feel that. And then we know the different phases of water and air. And but Aquarius, because we're gonna go into it because we're in the season of my art. We're gonna marry it into that. And then the Geb season, back to the Geb season. So Geb, it's the god, it's the umhlaba, lefati as we know it. And we'd know it as Pisces, but it's actually a Virgo, which is an earth sign. All right. And then the opposite that is our Newt principle, who is the Pisces actually. And we'll explain on that. So Geb season, Gelefati, and when we see what I think this would be where Kemet people and the flat earthers would agree, got the shape of the earth. So in mythology, it's described as now this firmament on the floor, and then there's Nut, the Geb's counterpart, which forms a dome like this, the earth like this. But obviously, we're not going to ignore Guti. Beneath Umhlaba, there's also life. As above, so is below.
Yes.
Right? So this would be the principle where vegetation happens, creation happens. This is the God, who governs that. This is the energy that governs that period. So for those who are into farming, they also know, okay, this is what we do as farmers. And then there's something interesting, where it says, okay, those like dala. So for spiritualists or people who do a lot of cleansing, you know how important salt is, or how powerful salt is, how powerful impepo is. So this is now what umhlaba gives us from our herbs, from our whatever it is. But this is this God that controls what we get from the soil. So if the energy decides, it's if Geb. If these were actual gods and they decided, I'm not doing this to the soil, this would be Geb controlling that. And then after Geb, we go into a period of hibernation now. This is now the Oset season. So Oset starts from the 23rd of March up until the 23rd of April. So Oset season, she is ushered in by the autumn equinox. So the autumn equinox, this happens Kadi 21. So now this is when the sun...
21 March.
21 March, sorry, yes. 21 March. This is when the sun now begins its journey now to the northern hemisphere, because we are entering into hibernation down here in the south.
This is when Ralitzat is leaving us.
That's right. So this is where now Ramukapa Ramasedi. So there's people and cultures who still do the ceremonies of honoring all these solstices and equinoxes. And usually, in my experience thus far, for the 3-4 years I've been actively in this content, it would definitely rain. How hukena the Oset season, And Oset ki mudimumme, ki nomkubulwane, ki ngwedi. So for people in the healing space, we definitely understand the gravity of the moon itself. The moon is a feminine energy. So if we're going to touch a little bit on the African creation story, we know Ramasedi is a masculine carrying energy, and then Ngwedi is feminine. And the sun, okay, sharp, ki source of life, creation, if the sun is not there, so bora sonke. But the sun cannot make any decisions without the moon approving that. From how the tides are controlled, from how, it's because you'd see sometimes where the moon is still out, the moon is still out, but the sun is here. It's like when and then you actually feel the energy in the air. So, but the moon, we call her mother because who controls how much sun actually we're gonna be pumping today, how much sun we're gonna be pumping season. So that is why a lot of cultures and spiritual fraternities, they focus a lot and are very cognizant of the moon and how the moon affects us. Because also remember, as above, so as below, as within, so without, we are made of water, right? But then also, don't miss me on this one, because as much as the sun is the source of life, but it comes from the great waters of Nun, which is a feminine energy. So from the waters came life. So that is why it also gets the saying in the Abrahamic religions of how the sun was walking on water, but it's from the African creation story as well. So the sun comes from, so what we see as the sun in the creation story comes from the great waters of the primordial waters of Nun, Ukulukulwane, the great waters of nothingness and everythingness, which is...
Yeah, gonna have to break that down a little bit more for us.
Okay, so creation story. Right. So I get it, Mhlaba, it was just water before creation or whatever it is, was just waters, the great waters of Nun. The waters before time, the waters before we could date anything. This is now a water, Nun, Ukulukulwane. I just don't have the Sesotho term, but it's we'd explain it as khale khale kwa, but it's a water body. So from the water body, so remember we said as above, so as below. And I did state that there's still life underneath what we would say this is a solid grounding. So from the waters, now there's lava that's coming now from the center of the earth. There's lava, it pops up from the waters of Nun. And then as it pops up, it now solidifies as an atom, what you would in religious spaces know as Adamu, atom. And in ancient texts, it is Atum. So it settles and it forms the mountains. And then there's this ball of energy of fire that sits on top of a crest of a mountain. So which is where Ramasedi comes from, which is we marry it into life. Everybody comes from the mother. The woman is the one that gives life. So all these things of, okay, yes, the sun is the sun, sun to get our melanin, to recharge, to heal ourselves, but it comes from a feminine energy. So the source of life, the source is feminine.
Why? Oh,
no, please continue.
Why is masculinity associated with the sun and femininity associated with the moon?
That's interesting. I've never actually delved into that, but I think people who study on an atomic level or people who know how to trace it back, they can answer better. I don't know why.
I'm sure even our periods are
but
connected.
With the moon, though, I can confidently answer how obviously it has to link with our periods. You know, how there's a red moon and a white moon. The white mooners go with the new moon. The red mooners, which are the healers, and that usually flow with the what's this with the full moon period. And then I will find a link how I'm gonna link them together. Why the waters, so we're still on Oset, remember? Yes. We're still on Oset. So this is God the Mother. This is Unomkhulwane, and in ancient times, and I think other cultures still practice it, your Zulu people, where when they want rains, they would send Intombi, the Machichis, to go plead for the rain. But also, if you see in other cultures, like my Pedi culture, we have the rain queen, who's the one that's gonna command for the rain to fall now. You know, okay, I know it's been a drought. We're gonna send the woman. So this is also a thing where I think we need to be highly aware of, especially as us as a melanated people, that actually we revered the woman better than we are right now. You know, we understood who actually our first God is the woman, you know, and I just linked it now back to nature. And then we go to after Oset. Yeah, so Oset also, it's another energy time that I like. This is where now you can make magic. So she's the principal where she uses Heka. Heka is what we call magic. So your spells, your affirmations, this would be like a very dope period. So if you catch a full moon, got the Oset season, don't waste it because the energy is supported now. So if you want to Heka, you want to do spells.
This is in April.
This is March 23rd up until April 23rd. Yes. So this is the energy, the mother. And you know, in African in our African understanding or homes, whatever, your mom also has a special name for you. So Oset has a secret name for certain things. So has a secret name for her own children, you know, has a secret name for Heru or whatever children she would bear. So this is now the mother energy, the magic behind the mother that we need to understand from this principle Yarona ya Oset. All right. So Oset, I did name her Nomkubulani. Okay, waiting. Then after Oset, we go into a period called the Anpu season. So Anpu season was also one where a lot of...
Sorry to stop you, Nick,
Yes.
because I want to get the flow of it. So we went into hibernation, then we started doing spells.
Yes.
And then now we are in the next. Okay, cool.
Now we are in the Anpu season. So Anpu, we would call Anpu the god of death, Anubis in the stolen text. So the Greek would refer to Anpu as Anubis. You would see it's like a dog figure. Yeah, it's represented by a face. Yeah, like either a dog or a wolf but it's black, the color black.
Yes, I've seen it.
So which denotes now Reko hibernation. So a lot of people who are called into healing, this would be a time now they would have like death dreams. A lot of people have like death dreams got this Anpu season. So this happens 23 April up until 23 May. So this is a period where it calls for us to go into hibernation. So sivuma ugufa in this period. So that is why a lot of people would have death dreams. So this is now a dying of your flesh stuff. Now we're focusing on spirit. So you need your flesh self to die for your spirit self now to rise. So now we are proper into spirit time now. So this is why it's called the god of death. And also in the story where now you go where your heart is weighed against the feather, Anpu is the one that mummifies as well, prepares your body. This is in the mythology. Prepares your body for now, whether across or over or across over, but we call it the god of death. And this would be where your Togoza Gogo gang, Makosi gang, sorry if I'm offending anybody, but this would be a period where they understand Hore Kivuma Ugufa, which brings me back to actually even things like Ipehlo had a time, Uguti, you need to fagga somebody at this time. Uguti, energy layer is supported that. So you flow with energy. So we've been so against the natural energy that, as in, like we just pehling because we just want to pehla, but actually lefehlo lena ko ya teng as well, you know. And then after the Anpu season, and I think our Anpu season this year we experienced the retrograde. So those who are interested in astrology and stuff, got retrograde, yo, I big new one this year. But I was like, okay, because I'm cognizant of this, obviously I have tools that are equipping me. I know, relax, this needs to happen.
Is normal.
This definitely needs to happen. And then after the Anpu season, and then it's also a great season because we get to wear black, and black kala ya manyora. And then then we come to the season Sekhmet Bast, who's also a feminine energy. So Sekhmet Bast would be represented by the lioness head. So this happens from the 23rd of May up until the 23rd of June. Mm-hmm. So she's represented by a feline head. She is, a very fierce energy. So this is the protector of Ra. So Ra would be Ramaseti, if we're taking it back to the mythology. So yeah, I don't recommend this, but I'll share it. So if somebody also like you can literally summon this energy and be on some, Sekhmet, lo muntu long sukela wangenza kanje kanje kanje, deal with them. And but we don't recommend, guys. Let's try to not.
Which month again?
Sekhmet bust that happens from
23
May
to
but
that's when the Tagata on.
That's when actually it's a healer season actually. So when you read Umpashwa Korn and the text, they would actually there's a part that says she wears a red and white linen, and then if you're gonna marry it in life, like, as you know it now, you know they're in their red skirts, they're in their white skippers, So I wonder how many healers are actually cognizant of this. So Sekhmet, as much as she's fierce, but she's also the principle of healing. So that is why now, God, this time, you're definitely touring Lefecho right now in the season of Sekhmet Bast. Now you're dealing no Moya wako directly, uyaphehla manje. And that's just what Hufeta is to Fudua,
Okay.
So this is when, if you have somebody link Lefehlong, they definitely crank at the season.
After school is after school.
School is after school. So now your flesh self has died. Now you're in spirit, Now, whatever it is, now you are uprooting this or wanting to heal this and. So this is a Sekhmet Bast, and then the color, that season is actually orange for the fire as well. You can marry her to the fire. She's fierce, lioness, So, this is the, Siona season, the healers. And this is a time for our healers also to thrive. I wish Libona, they would get this knowledge as well, so they can also operate better. But
this is from June to July.
No, this is from May.
Oh,
May
this is still the fighting one.
Yes, this is the fierce lioness. And if you also see in ancient scripts from Kemet, the deity, the cat, was a very important energy. The feline energy was very important. From the royal houses, these pharaohs and these gods. So. And for Rona, we're like, yo, but actually, just learn a bit more. Like, look at lions. How do lions behave? And, in a pride of lions, the Ndlovukazi is the one that actually goes and gets it, So that is the Kodes or Sekhmet Bast. And then we go into the season of Set, which is also, I don't know why it's my favorite also, but it's another favorite way, because I think maybe I can literally see the stuff that is happening. So our Set season, that one is ushered in by the winter solstice, which starts on the 21st of June, which is now the longest night of the year and the shortest day of the year. So I think, we did actually experience it, Kadi 21 Vele this year. And with this period, Set, this is, we call it the god of destruction, the god of chaos. And I think historically, we have seen this manifesting a lot, this period, Set. So I think last year we had, this is when the lootings were starting, Boma June 16, like ka June man, ki chaos, man, but these are things that are not aligned with the principle of Ma'at, things that are not serving us, because I think we can see right now that the consciousness is rising so much. Abokoko bayavuka on sama chayile now, chayile. So everything engahambi ngendlela, it needs to be destroyed. But we are destroying now so that we can build anew. We cannot build on foundations that are, you can't build on top of date. We're not sweeping things under. We are literally destroying. So when it comes to the lootings, that's our last year. This is now, and it's gonna consistently happen this way until System A has been. Before Bariki anarchist. But until it's destroyed, because it's really not serving the majority of us. The melanated people are the ones in majority, but we are the ones that are living in squalor. Don't tell me, Uguti, no, hunger is not important. For the fact that even in politics or whatever situations, food security is a thing. Now you're feeding us the GMO, which shows hore ungati like hunger is not important. Hunger is very important. Indlala vele iyayibangulaga, you know. But it's unfortunate that now it's us working against us, you know, because I think we are also still very tied to the colonial poisons that we have, where we as a melanated people are against each other. Everybody is playing the race game except for us. Ronaki, yeah, Rainbow Nation. But everybody is securing the bag with their own except for us. Yeah. Everybody is securing their spiritual practices amongst themselves except for us as a melanated people. But let's get into Set. So Set, the energy thing, the color ya Set, your red color. It is called the god of chaos, the god of destruction. But this is
umbidlikazi.
Umbidlizi.
Umbidlikazi.
Umbidlizi.
Okay.
Yes, umbidlizi. So the Gazi is usually used in to denote the feminine. Yes, because we are gods, we're greater, honestly. But yeah, so umbidlizi. This is now the person who destroys the things that are not aligned with Ma'at. And Ma'at is very important in ancient Kemet because they would base their way of life on order and, you know, discipline. If you're anti-Ma'at, okay, sik discipline kanjani and. So everything that does not align with Ma'at will be destroyed in this period, you know. And remember I mentioned how nature's really not static. So we can say Horset season 23, but you already feel the energy change. Bomadi 16, I think ibile this year as well, where there was a guy burnt go Maponya Mall, where now it happened just before, say I think a week before the Set season. But this is how nature operates. The energy change, you will definitely feel it. How June 16 yatsakhala. Lona, this was approaching now the Set period, you know, and blood was spilled. A lot of blood was spilled. And how Shaba the color ya said gave the red color. And so how we amplify the seasons, we use our candles, Gom Sama, to represent the color, or you just get draped into it. But for those who are in healing spaces, red candle, you know, as much as everything has a dual energy, but if you are Shapasa, you know, you definitely use the red color, you know. Color of blood is red, and you know, so all these chaos, the xenophobic attacks, always how kasheba they happen ka season in a winter, you know, and the winter solstice go now. That's when harere rikena ko winter handle. That marks the beginning, and this happens ka the Set season. And then, but also discovered nice principles about Set as well in my quest. So Set also is the protector actually of. So okay, so let's marry life. So the sun rises in the east in the beginning of the day, and then it sets go the west as well. So in the mythology, this would be now at the end of the day, these energies, these gods and pharaohs, they're on this bark. So bark is like a ship with sails. Yeah. So they're on this ship, and then they are traveling to get to the west now. Now now the sun is setting. So on this journey here, there's a snake called Uapep who now attacks this bark. So Oset actually is the protector of this ship where Ramasedi is residing. I get Kapile Ramasedi now. So Set is the only one where he can stare into this snake and not be hypnotized. But with the other gods, they can actually be hypnotized by this. And Set, we made a Set with our Nepted principle. So if Ubatla Emuntus and you're a Set, definitely go for your Nepted. Nepted, take 23 December up until 23 January. So so you'd get it from there, because we said Nepted, our nurturer, protecting of the energy. And so Set also displays those principles, protecting Ramasedi as well from the ship not being taken by this huge snake or Apep. And then so Set is not all bad, and Set is a necessary force. So just like for motion, we need Set for motion. We would not be able to walk without an opposing force. So Set is an opposing force, but it got bastardized to mean no Satani, but no, it's a Satani, guys. Let's relax. It's a Satani, even though like there's just so much chaos, but it is chaos for the good. Siyabhidliza ukuthi sizokwazi uku-akha kabusha. Then after Set, which is the season that we're in now, we get into our Ma'at principle. So Ma'at, a law and order, restoration, balance. So also on the scale, where there'd be the scale of Ma'at, where they put a feather up against the way the heart against a feather. So if your heart is heavier than the feather, then yeah, you're probably gonna have to reincarnate, or whatever decision that Jehuti is gonna make, go the afterlife situations. But Ma'at is now coming in to restore. And it's Oset uzile wabhidliza, and kwamoshakala. And I think a lot of people, especially those who are affected but they don't even know how they're affected, I was like, I know, Gogi, no, relax. Okay, new season, yatla, relax. How are you feeling now? No, things are a bit better. And this is the energy in season in it's restoring, it's putting balance again, it's putting law and order, it's putting truth, it's putting justice, it's putting so you'd see also like in these stealers of content, they would have this goddess. Oh yeah, so I'm actually wearing my ad. So it's depicted by the goddess with the wings. It's depicted by the goddess. Sometimes you'd see her with an ostrich feather, where I think I've seen them with some royal houses. They wear the ostrich feather, but I'm very curious to know, which actually, do they know what it means? So it's also very associated with royalty as well, the royal, hence the feather from an ostrich, you know. And Ma'at, the consort of Ma'at is Jehuti, which is the knowledge keeper. All right. So if we read in Totza Ma'at that aligns us with Ma'at, the tree Ma'at is on papyrus. This is where we get paper. And then you're like, oh, married to Jehuti. So Jehuti script on the papyrus, Ma'at. The stone thing is, what's the purple stone called? An amethyst. Yes, an amethyst stone, where now this is a time where your intuition, you work on your intuition gets heightened. So we focus on your third eye, lay your crown chakra. Chakra hands. So this is a period where your intuition, you work on heightening your intuition. So this is knowledge. So as much as Jehuti is a knowledge keeper, but Ma'at is the inner verse knowledge, the knowledge within now. Now you're working, we are heightening now, being intuitive now. We are heightening also our dreams. So for those who divine Kadi tarot cards, this is their time to shine now, because Areyuzi, they don't, when I was researching, frankly, they don't use the like your dice and whatnot, but your tarot cards readers, your energy readers, this is their time now to thrive. This is their time to better connect. And if you're aware right now, we just entered a full moon now, and this month in August, as much as it's gonna overlap between two seasons, but we are witnessing two full moons, and they're both super moons this month, you know. And the moon also, it helps us with our intuition as well. Connection to the moon heightens that. And then what I wanted to bring out earlier on, so if you read the text, Ma'at is actually Aquarius, knowledge, Aquarius, a flow of water. And I did say, Jorge, this is the inner knowledge now. So that is how we marry this inner knowledge, because remember Aquarius, this is now the age of knowledge, the age of knowing, and which is what is happening right now as well. So Ma'at, if we invert her, she's an Aquarius, and we said Aquarius is back to our Het-Heru principle, if you do remember that. And I lost my train of thought, but we'll get back into it. So Ma'at or restore balance again. We call her umthethokazi or molauhadi. So this is now law and order, and also she's involved in the creation processes. So for Hore, okay, lava ena etlotwa mona. So she's the one that governs that principle of creation. She's the one that governs okay, this is gonna happen in an orderly way. And when we, I don't know if we're gonna chat again, but when we do chat, we're gonna explain how she fits into the Trinity. So Ma'at also forms part of the Trinity as well, because without the spoken word, which relates back to Jehuti, without the spoken word, we need that spoken word, creation. I get it. If you want something common, Honale in the beginning was the word, or let the word spoken, let there be light. So this, my art, is the one that is controlling all of that. And remember, consort Jehuti, hence the spoken word, hence the chorus and the knowledge, and yeah, the color thing is purple. So yeah, it's violet, purple, those shades of purple. And those who are also in spiritual spaces that know to elevate higher, to connect, to have a cosmic resonance, we use the purple candle for that. So those who also do like the cleanses, maybe late children or whatever, a lot of them involve the purple candle in that mix. But it is, the purple color for spiritualists, they know it's for a color, intuition, a color, connecting, having a cosmic resonance, connecting now with the cosmos. Because we connect the cosmos with our five senses, unfortunately, we still haven't learned how to tap into, my third eye needs to connect my crown chakra. How do I get this in alignment? Yeah. So that is principle Yama'at, which is the 11th month on the calendar. And then we get into now the final season, which is Unut or Untu, which is now the dome shape of the earth. So this is the sky goddess. So they describe her so poetically, but she's her body is her belly full of stars. So if you see her depicted, it's literally a feminine body. So
yes,
over like this, and then it's got stars from the body. And then in the story, it also says how uzala ilanga at the beginning of the day, and at the end of the day she swallows the sun again. So every day it's that occurrence. So the sun literally moves throughout her body. Now we're gonna marry. So this is what we would call the Alpha and Omega. This is the beginning and this is the end. And we see it also in I didn't say the period. So the period Nut in Kalakadi 23 of, where were we?
August.
Yeah, so the 23rd of August up until the 23rd of September now. This is the Nut period. So why I also like this principle now it helps us also bring together our lunar calendar. So Kekalo, which is now when Basotho are now starting their new year. So she's the beginning, and then the Alpha, and then when we literally get into the solar 20th, the solar, this is now the end of that season and the beginning of another season. So she's the Alpha and Omega. Yeah, so she completes the whole creation cycle. So this is the final month on our African calendar, and she's also got a very sexy stone. It's a lapis lazuli. Yeah, so it's also a beautiful stone. If you see it, it looks like how they depict the Earth on your National Geographic or your NASA, how the green and it looks like the Earth actually when you see the stone, lapis lazuli. So she is the consort of Ugep. So the shape of the Earth are formed by these two principles. So also in the creation story, these are the two energies that also now, so they are just above Asar and Oset, Ugep, Le Nut. And then Nut, also she's, what's this? So she's the so as above as below. I remember we spoke about Unut, the firmament. So why we think like the sky is blue, or these are just reflections and refractions of each other. So she carries the moisture, she carries the waters. So the principle Nut is aligned to Ushu, which is Umoya, is aligned to Tefnut, which is moisture, which is your rains. So this comes from that. There's the water, Nun, Kulukulwane, and then Unut is the sky waters, basically. So other scholars, they say space is also big unending waters. So this would be the principle Nut. And that is the 12 houses, the 12 energy houses.
Thank you. Wait, I don't think I understood what Nut that season represents, just before I leave you.
Okay. So Unut Kim Petigazi. So Nut will represent, so it's the sky goddess.
Yeah.
So this is
So what's gonna be happening in my life?
What Newt basically, she ties back. So everything
It's
is
the
now,
end.
this is the end, yeah. So you are now preparing whatever it is that you've been preparing throughout the year. Remember, we start our intentions. We start our intentions now, New Year. No, actually, you start doing New Year. So now Newt denotes the end of our hibernation period. Now we are getting into our active period now. Now, we are alive again. She's ushering basically back the sun is now like osamo kapa up until we get to Asar now. So this is the end and the beginning
The
in
last
one.
lap.
This is your sky goddess. This is now like Rabona. Okay, the rains are now starting to form, and yeah. So this is
just before your rebirth.
Yes, and this is now Pisces on what the actual calendar is supposed to be. Hence the water. Hence I get Pisces as a water element. Yes, so that is how Newt ties everybody together.
And then quickly before we close off the spring equinox.
Yes.
We were going to...
So equinox, basically, if we break down the word, equi means equal and nox means night. So when equinoxes happens, this is basically the sun is an equal amount of time as the day. Sorry, the day and the night are of equal amounts. So we get a spring equinox and we get an autumn equinox. Autumn equinox happens just before Oset, where there would be, it's called the lamentation of Oset, the ceremony thing. So there's also rituals, because we are, as much as we say it's not a religion, but there is certain things that assist you, rituals that you do, or affirmations that you do, spoken words that you do, or principles that you do, got different seasons to help you also resonate better, raise your frequency. Season A, you know. So sorry, what did you ask?
So I was asking because now we're closing off about the spring equinox specifically, because the other one we were saying bye to Ralizati.
That's the autumn equinox.
Yes, this one is for
equinox. What? So when the spring equinox happens now
we're welcoming
welcoming back.
Okay.
Or Ramasedi now. Ramasedi, I forgot to touch on in the set season how Asar is actually now black in color because he's in confinement. And remember, Asar is linked to the sun, is in confinement, and in the creation story bathi Oset umfake bogisini. And for you to, I think, understand the African creation story better, go watch The Lion King.
Okay.
Yeah, so The Lion King, in that your Mufasa would be your Set. No, not Mufasa. Oscar would be Set. Mufasa would be Asa.
Oh my
Het-Heru would be Osimba.
Oh, what a nice way to end it, actually. I love that movie.
Yeah, so that's to understand the creation story. But I hope I did not speak from a point of knowing. I hope it makes sense.
You know, the audience is so smart. I'll tell you that much. They are so smart. So we look forward to you coming back again to unpack it properly. I'm sure they had pens and papers because that did need you to. But thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your space.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and energy with us.
Thank you so much.
Moya writes, you're so spoiled, so spoiled. I love you and thank you for blessing us. And if you're interested in advertising, please just email us. I'll see you again next time. Thank you.
Who are you when all you were has been diluted by lies and white lines cancelling out all that which has been written of your history? Why do you look at yourself as a mystery? Doesn't the sun shine because you open your eyes? Doesn't the moon stay situated within the same stars your DNA sparkles off? Your spirit knows that surely corner into it off. Buza umoya so you may return to being well off. Because spiritually you are rich, yet your ancestors cry because you are out of reach. But yours is to command all elements while God takes inspiration from the very mirror she looked at to become. Remember who you are and never finish just when they think that with you they are done.